everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Critical Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about a movie that, honestly, I kind of dreaded watching and reviewing. Today we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons, the Book of Vile Darkness. When an evil villain seeks to acquire the Book of Vile Darkness, or Relic of Great Power, it's up to Grayson, a brand new Knight of the New Sun, to stop them. All of his morals will be tested as he has to join a group of evil mercenaries to get close enough to the villain to put a stop to his evil plans. I have to admit, this one almost had me at first. Almost. How did this low-budget, straight-to-DVD movie almost work for me? By playing to my gamer's heart, of course. The Knights of the New Sun are followers of Pelor, a god of light. This god is real to the D&D universe. This half-orc barbarian big BA man-beast right here is Grok. Grok, one of my favorite characters that I ever played, was not connected to Pelor, but wears a medallion of the god because the murdered love of his life was a cleric of Pelor. So, the beginning of the movie got my attention. Then the movie got going. While I give this movie a little bit of credit for its attempt at making a compelling D&D story, in the end this movie was just kinda sloppy. The heroes, I guess that's what I'll call them, are kind of interesting, but most of them don't get a lot of character development past their character class. Also, there is no real variety of races in this movie. While I may have missed it, I didn't see any elves, dwarves, or anything other than humans. Now, our hero is supposed to be a knight with a moral code, but constantly has to do bad things, and other bad things, to fit in with a group of mercenaries. While this is a decent part of the plot, the endgame doesn't make much sense. While yes, he does try to do good all through the adventure, he straight up murders one of the mercenaries going against everything the knighthood stands for, and he gets rewarded for it. Now, if he would have struck out on his own or got together with the cute dark wizard girl, it would have made a lot more sense, but no! After breaking tons of rules and then getting the power of Pelor, now he has to be the pious one. Sheesh, when you send paladins on a chaotic evil adventure, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the villain of the movie, he's barely a factor. We meet him and then pretty soon after he's toast. The mercenary character Bez is more of a main villain than the main one whose name I can't even or care to remember. I thought there was going to be some twist involving Bez being the real villain, but I guess I was giving this movie way too much credit. I will say one thing this movie had the guts to do was go rated R. Before you go, oh cool, it really stepped it up in the violence department, slow down. While yes, there are a couple of pretty silly scenes of violence, the real reason this movie is rated R is the sex. I'm not going to show it, but I'll put it this way. I thought this movie was going to turn into a softcore porn at one point. I guess if you can't win them over with Dungeons and Dragons in your 2 Dungeons and Dragons movies, try to snag them gamers some other way, I guess. Lastly, and I'll keep this simple, when it comes to the action and effects, neither are really that impressive. D&D 3, you almost had me at Pelor. While I give the first of the movie a little credit for doing its D&D homework, and this movie is actually based on a real D&D module, it's still just a poor low-budget attempt to cash in on the name of Dungeons & Dragons. Now, if you really have to see this one, and I suggest you don't, it's not that hard to find on YouTube. As always, thank you so much for watching. What did you think of Dungeons & Dragons, the Book of Vile Darkness? Feel free to comment on down in the section below. Till next time, I'm Gino Reynolds from The Real Gino.